feel like you've hit a plateau in your business? Do you find yourself constantly asking the question, why can't I do, you fill in the blank? Or why am I not doing, fill in the blank? Hi, I'm Valerie, and this week on Business by Design, I want to talk about the why is not important. I know that sounds strange, but it's so very true. So join me and let's talk about it.
Hello, I'm Valerie Priester, and this is the Business by Design podcast. Are you a woman entrepreneur who absolutely loves what you do and enjoy helping others, but for some reason you can't seem to get out of your own way? You can't seem to get out of your head and really create the level of success that you desire? I get it. I truly understand. I've been there too. You see, I spent years searching for what do they call it? The holy grail, the secret sauce, right? To success. And what I learned along the way is all of the women that I knew that were very successful had one thing in common, and that was their way of thinking. Now, I know you may be saying it can't be that simple, can't be that easy, right? But the truth is, the number one key or secret, however you want to label it, to success is your way of thinking. It's your mindset. It's what you believe and what you think is possible for you. And so that's exactly why I created this podcast. I want to help you get out of your head, get out of your own way. I want to help you get into more profits, more passion, and more power. I want to help you to shift away from old beliefs and release old ways of thinking, self-sabotaging conversations, and help you shift into new beliefs that support your goals and bring lasting success. I want to help you design your victory so you can create the business and life that you desire. So if you're ready for some real talk about how to do that, if you're ready to really make the shift and move into greater possibilities and greater success, you're in the right place.
So many times we have these conversations with ourselves and we constantly ask ourselves the question of why won't I do this or why won't I do that? Why is it so hard for me to do this? And where I see a lot of clients getting stuck is that they're so focused on the why and trying to figure out the why as opposed to figuring out how do I move beyond the need to know why. Because the truth is, the why is not important. What's most important is that you're taking the steps that you need to take in order to move beyond the why, right? Because there's many reasons why we don't do things that we know we should be doing. It could be fear, it could be doubt, it could be procrastination, it could be fear of rejection, it could be fear of success, even it could be fear of failure. Any one of those things can be the reason why we're not doing the things that we really need to do in order to move forward in our business. And the things that we know we need to do too, because often that's where it shows up. It shows up in those things that we absolutely know that's what I should be doing, but yet we don't. And so we spend a lot of time and energy trying to figure out why. Why am I being so resistant in this area, right? Why am I holding myself back in this area? And what I'd like to say is this: the why doesn't matter. What matters is, are you ready to move forward? Are you ready to step out of that cycle of constantly thinking that either you're not good enough, you don't know enough, right? Those are some more reasons why we could resist doing the things that we know we need to do. But are you ready to step out of that cycle and step into a place that you can really excel and be who you are authentically meant to be? That only comes when you're willing to step out of your head and get out of the thoughts that you can't do this, and more importantly, get out of the search for the why you're not doing it. It just doesn't matter why you're not doing it. What matters is it's time for you to take the step to do the very thing that you're resisting the most. Because here's what I found to be true with myself and even with working with clients. The thing that you are resisting the most is the area in which you will have the greatest level of success and results. Because the feeling of resistance and not wanting to move forward and do this, it's really just an indication that, oh my goodness, this is the right direction to go in. Right? And oftentimes we'll substitute the meaning for that as maybe this is not the right thing for me to do, or maybe this is not the right path for me, maybe this is not the right business. All of those things can come up. But here's the truth. What you're resisting is absolutely the thing that you need to do the most. I'm a prime example of that. So for many years, and even still now, I resist video, right? Because for me, it creates this, it puts me back into my perfection mode. Let me just say that, because I am a recovering perfectionist. So when we talk about me having to do video as one of my marketing strategies, it puts me back in that feeling of having to be perfect, that it has to be perfect. And I promise you, I'm really honest and transparent with this. When I have to do video, oftentimes it takes me many tries before I stop that cycle of perfectionism and really just let go and say, you know what? Done is better than perfect. So yes, it may not be perfect in my eye, which I don't even think there's any such thing that it can be perfect in my eye because I'm so critical. I'm a Virgo too, by the way. But I think I'm so critical of putting things out from myself and that they have to be perfect, and the ducks have to be in a row, all that crap. But really, that's all it is. It's a bunch of crap. It's my way of procrastinating and keeping me from doing the things that I want to do. So I use myself as a prime example in that. Like, if I spent all my time trying to figure out why I'm so resistant to showing up in video, I would never get any videos done. Because the truth is, that's the excuse that I'm using to hold myself back and keep me from doing that. And when I do that, it also hinders my success. It also delays my results, right? So, what I want to say to you today is this: stop worrying about the why. It doesn't matter. Start focusing on what are the steps that I can take to move beyond my need to know why I'm not moving, right? Even when I say that, like, if you think about it, like, why am I spending all this time trying to figure out why I'm not moving instead of just moving, right? That's really all you have to do. That's the simple strategy behind not being in action. It is to get in action. So think about the first step that you can take to move forward. The first step that you can take to get out of your head and stop trying to figure out why you're not doing this task or whatever it is. But think about what's the first step that I can take. So if you are resistant to following up on potential clients, right? Because you have created the story in your head that if I follow up with them 2 or 3 times, I'm bothering them, right? That's just a story, by the way. So if that's the case, then the first step that you could take is that I'm going to make a list of all of the potential clients that I need to follow up with, and this week, I'm going to commit to following up with 2 of them. And then when I take that step, I am going to document how I followed up. So now I have a record of how I followed up, what happened with that follow up, so that I can now see when it's time to follow up again, right? So you're creating a process that you can follow so that you stay out of your head about the follow-up process, about, you're bothering them. If you have this process that you have created in your business and you follow that process, it will help you to become more consistent with following up and doing the task that you have been putting off, the task that you have been procrastinating on, right? The task that you have been resisting. That's the first step. So, wherever you find yourself procrastinating or resisting doing something, and you see that you're constantly trying to figure out the why, I want you to stop, take a deep breath, and ask yourself the question: what is the first step I can take? And then you want to commit to when you will take that step, right? And then hold yourself accountable for doing that. Because again, the ultimate truth is the why is not important. What's most important is that you get in action. Remember, designing your victory is a choice, and it will always start with you becoming aware of where you are and then taking action to lead to where you want to be. We'll see you next time.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Business by Design podcast. If you love what you're hearing each week, let me know by leaving a rating and a review. And don't forget to follow the show so you don't miss out on proven mindset techniques, strategies, and tools to help you design your victory and create the business and life you desire. Also, if you're ready to talk about the business and life that you really want, head on over to valeriepriester.com and schedule your private business breakthrough clarity call. Until next week, remember, designing your victory is a choice. Start today.